Hi, everybody. Welcome to this little mastermind about the basics of ConvertKit commerce. I'm glad you were able to join us. My name is Matt Mullen. Email on autopilot is the reason that you are here, I hope. We're going to talk today about ConvertKit commerce at a high level. I'm going to walk through what it does, what it's not, and some suggestions for basic usage. My intention with this is to simply educate you about what's possible. Not necessarily to sell you on anything or say that you should switch anything that you're currently doing to ConvertKit commerce. I just figured that the people who are joining me today are probably just curious as to what this is. Maybe you heard about it, maybe you haven't. So let's go through what it is. All right, first off, what you see on your screen is, well, you could all read this, sure. And that is they do have a nice overview and set of docs that you can walk through. I'm going to start with some high level what this is, and then I'll show it to you. And then we'll very briefly, I'll show you what it's like to put together a product in ConvertKit commerce. So what is it to begin with? Well, it's basically an e-commerce solution for people who don't have another e-commerce solution. A lot of creators struggle with this, right? You create an ebook, you create a course, you want to do some service, some digital, some consulting calls, whatever. It's good for that sort of thing. Digital downloads, maybe your printables and checklists that you want to sell, even meal plans. I could see you could sell through ConvertKit commerce. They have a feature called a tip jar. The idea of this is kind of, hey, pay what you want type deal. And so that you might have specific uses for that yourself. Drawbacks that I see. A few of them are payment happens weekly. It's not immediate. It's not available in every country yet. Here on this document, they list what the countries where it is currently available. It's a lot of countries, but it's not every country just yet. If you're big into e-commerce, you can probably get better rates elsewhere. Somebody asked me, can you do a comparison of all the rates of how it compares? I haven't taken the time to do that yet. In talking with one client that I've been working on with it briefly, she is on Gumroad to deliver an ebook, and these rates are apparently better than Gumroad. So here's what they are. Let's just talk about them real fast. The cost of the feature is a 3.5% fee per and plus a 30-cent processing fee. That's per transaction. That's actually not that far off from your standard credit card type payments. It's a little bit more expensive than if you're doing e-commerce and you negotiate a deal with the banks or get your own merchant account. But if you're leveraging somebody else's merchant account, these are reasonable rates, at least from my first glance at it, especially if you want to get rolling quickly. Other things that are drawbacks, it doesn't currently collect any sales tax for you. So you're on your own for figuring that part out. You're not notified. You don't get an email that says that somebody purchased. So that's coming, I guess, but that you don't get that. They do have a back end that I'll show you in a moment that gives you your dashboard and you can see how many purchases you have. If you're doing a digital download, for example, let's say that you're delivering a printable or an ebook or an SVG file or something. If someone forwards the receipt that contains the digital download link, that link is available to whomever has the receipt email. That's probably a drawback to digital, doing this stuff anyway, but I just thought I'd mention it. Full refunds are supported. Partial refunds are not just yet. So let's say that you had somebody that was upset, or you worked out some sort of special deal and you're like, tell you what, let me refund half of what. You can't do that right now. It's all or nothing. Some other cool things that it does have coupon code capabilities. So if you want to do a discount code, because for Matt, for here on out, for everything that you ever have, and you just want me to have it for free, which is very nice of you, you can do that. Other features that are coming soon, I understand. Affiliate tracking is on the roadmap. We talked about taxes just briefly. that's coming, and then the partial refunds. I think those are the three things that they are prioritizing next. All right, that's what it is in general. So let me know if you have specific questions about, does it do this, does it do that, down in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer it. I don't think it's going to be a great solution for you if you're delivering physical products. I just don't see that at all. So, oh, one of the great things that I like about this too, by the way, if you're using ConvertKit as a platform, is it's one less integration that you have to do with a third-party service. So it'll already have built in your ability to do triggers based off of a sale of a product, and you'll see what I mean by that. Number one, you're gonna know who bought what inside ConvertKit, so it's already there. Number two, you can use automations and rules to set up triggers to trigger something like an onboarding sequence. And think about this: if you're doing a sales campaign for, how to be as awesome as Aaron product, everybody that's already bought it, you might want to exclude them from getting that. So that's the type of thing that you can do inside ConvertKit. Let me show it to you in action real briefly so you can kind of get an idea. Yeah, one of the questions in the chat is, it's only good for digital products. Well, you can use it for subscription services. You could do it for consulting. I'll show you how I have used it for consulting. But yeah, any physical product, it's probably not the right thing for you. Question is, this is for emailing a link and product promotion to our list and post the link elsewhere. I'll show you how you can do that. You're going to basically create product pages. And you'll see it in just a second. I'll just show it to you, and then that'll probably spark that. It doesn't track when the purchases were made. Oh, really? Okay. Well, we'll have to check onto that, Sally. I'm not certain on that, but if you're selling through it, then you probably already know. Okay, let's dig in here. The first example I want to show you is, I thought this is a very cool implementation of it. Now, this website sells, I guess, cheat sheets and templates for how to use Notion, the software. So if you go through this here real quick, you can kind of see how they're building this out. So they've got these different templates, and they've created a page. They have premium templates and free templates. So they've created this page where you've got different templates, and each one of these takes you to a different product page. Let me show you that. If I click buy now, then it's a very simple place that you can see what it is. You get basically one image. I'm not sure. I think you may be able to do a gallery. Well, we'll look at here in just a second. And then when you go to purchase it, boom, it asks for a credit card. Really simple. Let's scroll down. Here, look, here's an example of pay what you can. All right. So if you click that, you enter in, I would like to pay $4 million. Is that 4 million? Good, because that's what I want to pay. I don't actually have $4 million, but that's what I would like to pay for this. It looks, Wordle is awesome. I'm very good at Wordle. I have done it. My streak right now is I've got 50 days in a row. I missed one. I've missed one, and I agonize over it. Any Wordle fans out there? Am I the only one? Okay, no idea what I'm talking about. All right, Sandy, go check it out. Sally, you know. Carrie asked, can you do PayPal too on the checkout? No, right now it is, I think this is it. This is what you get. Now, whether we can customize to offer different options, I haven't figured out how to do that just yet. So that may not, probably what I would do is, you see this link right here? When you click this link, it triggers how to pay. So let me show that to one more time. So Carrie, for example, let's say that you were on this page. You cannot add in PayPal and other options here. Probably what I would do is I'd create a separate, so I'd use this link to get me to this checkout. And so on my landing page, I'd have a link to my PayPal checkout and a separate link to this here. That's how I would probably manage that. All right. Now down below, just for reference's sake, as far as ConvertKit, to see how they're using it, they're also doing their freebies this way. I know a lot of you do free of course you do quick start guides. Yeah, but you also do printables and checklists and things. See how they do this? They use a similar template. They just use a different background to differentiate, which is kind of nice. I think this is cool. So they've got this cool landing page to get the free template. And then to see it again, you scroll back up, and then they have a different look.
What would the benefit? What would the benefit be of using, let's say, that downloadable template versus just having it set up on your pop-up to have it automatically download, as the incentive?
You mean for a landing page like this? Oh, down here?
Well, no, like a pop-up, I'm assuming, how are they going to get to this anyway? But I'm thinking if you have the option to have them download something straight from the ConvertKit e-com, but you also have the option to put a pop-up on a blog post or something. And then when they enter their email, it automatically sends them a download.
Okay. So if you're talking, I may not be understanding you completely, but if you're talking about a freebie, there's lots of reasons you might want to have a landing page, because in this case, for example, they can just say, hey, I've got 50 different freebies, go get them. And this can serve as their template library, and you just pick which one you want.
Okay.
So in that situation, you might do it this way. Or what you can also do what they've done, which is mix and match with their shop. We have free plus premium, and they have multiple things, which would be hard for them to convey in a single pop-up.
Okay.
So
yeah.
them driving them to a landing page like this kind of makes sense.
Cool.
Good question. All right. So that's a high level. Now I want you to see what Jenna has done. So I was talking with Jenna last week, and together we were just kind of exploring. We're like, let's throw this together. So she has an ebook. She has one product that she's been selling through Gumroad. And so if you come down here, she's not promoting it in a big way. She has this link at the bottom, and she's got it, in a variety of other places on her website. When you click this, I'm going to drop this in here, by the way, just in case you want to come back to this later and walk through this flow, and or maybe buy something from Jenna. So what she did, she over the course of time has been using landing pages to build out a more robust product page, if you will. I mean, look at this. She's got, look, she got that, and then she's got a testimonial, and here's what's inside. All of that, you can see in this Notion template on these product pages, they are not doing that level of detail. So depending on what you want to do, then what she's got going on is each one of these buy now buttons, that takes you to, notice this up here, to her jennakate@home.ck.page products in home in progress. This is the product page from ConvertKit Commerce. Did everybody follow that? That was kind of important. So what's being hosted by ConvertKit Commerce, ConvertKit itself, is this .ck.page. All right. And that's what, so she's doing the landing page on something called landingpages.com. All right. So it's an actual service, and you'll want to check and see if that's something you want to do. You could also build something like this out, I'm sure, on your own blog, and then link to these here. So I've not always understood the true value add of landing pages, the brand landingpages.com. I've never quite understood that, because you can do that. But I guess, kind of to Sally's point, is that they have pre-built templates and it would go faster for you. You bang out something like this. So then when you click this, where to go? It takes you to this product page. And now when you want to purchase this product, this is what it looks like. Buy now. It's super basic. All right. It's email, credit card. Boom. Now, just as a use case for me, I have a client overseas and I couldn't figure out how to collect payment. I normally do stuff through Zelle and try to avoid fees, and PayPal fees are a little bit more expensive. And this was a nice solution for me and that client to figure out how she could use a credit card. And I created a goofy little page and said, here, pay me this way. And it worked okay. It worked fine, at least for me on my side. And as you can see, as the consumer, it's email and credit card. So once you fill this out, so I did this, I purchased this, and this is what it looked like at the end. She gave me a promo code that I could use to test this out. Your file has been emailed to you along with a receipt for your transaction. And then when you go click this, this will download the digital download to my computer. Now, as far as the emails, if you go to the emails, this is what that email looked like. Thank you for your order. Here's the details of your purchase. You can download your files many times you like using the button at the bottom of this email. You can customize this in when you're creating the flow. In fact, when we were doing this, we threw in this big thing because a lot of people are like, wait a minute, I never got the ebook. So we like made this ridiculously big. In fact, what we were emailing back and forth was like, this is kind of ugly. I bet we could clean this up. But for the sake of this discussion, you can see the basics of it. It's so easy. Click the big red button. Da, 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 da. For best experience, we recommend downloading to a desktop or laptop. It can behave weird in mobile. That's probably my words. That's probably definitely not ConvertKit's words. So when you click it, it'll download it. Okay. Now, what does she do then? After it's purchased, you get, where'd it go? Oh, I haven't received it yet. I think it starts tomorrow. She's got a follow-up welcome series. So it's like how to make use of this product. So for example, let's say that you have a meal plan. I'm just throwing that out there in case one of you on the call sells meal plans. They buy the meal plan. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. That thank you message is going to be whatever. Upon completion, you can add them to a sequence in ConvertKit, 3 days, 5 days, 1 day, whatever, that walks them through. All right, here's how to use your super duper meal plan. You probably received this. We recommend printing this out and going to the grocery store and doing da, 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 da. Day 2. Here's other ways that you can save money using that meal plan. Here's 5 tips on how we save money with the product that you used or that you bought. And then what that's doing is it's helping them get more out of your product, which means the more they get out of it, the happier they are with the money they spent. They're more likely to tell their friends, and you get the private yacht faster. Okay, so Aaron liked that one. Okay, private yacht. Yes, indeed. All right. Here we go. Next, I want to show you. I threw this together in WordPress, and I'm about to show you the back end here with ConvertKit just a second. But this is mine. Okay, you can see how stupid my shop page is. Anybody could make this. This is the type of thing that. So when I click on this, it takes me to this personalized path, whatever I threw in an image, and you can pay me. All right, that's it. Make sense? Super duper simple. Richard Marx, definitely going to sell a lot more of these. So let's get into it. Questions so far? I haven't shown you the guts yet, but I'm going to show it to you now. I was going through this process and I saved you a bunch of time. You're welcome. By filming what it looks like. So I'm going to go through it really fast on the back end of what it's like to create a product, including how do you connect with the credit card company? An important piece of all this. So here we go. I'm just going to let this run and I'm going to pause it. There's no voiceover here. This is me going through it. So there's these different types of products. That was really too fast. Up here in Earn, there's the different types of products that you can do. You just select products as I do here. And then in here, I'm going to set up my payments. Okay. And I'm going to set it up either as an individual or as a company. You know the drill on this. It's the difference is social security number or whatever tax ID that you use. That's all it is. You fill this bad boy out and it's going to look like this. It's going to, by the way, when you get payments on your, when you get paid, it's going to look like it's coming from ConvertKit LLC. So it's not going to come from Sandy or Katie or whatever the name of the customer is. All right. So they've partnered with Stripe to make this simple. And then, of course, there's this verification process that you have to go through. I'm looking for it, obviously. There we go. Fill that out. It asks you for some of these details. Groovy, you fill all that out. We're going to skip through this. Boom. Once you've done that, you select your industry. consulting services for me, da, 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 fill that out. Then it connects you to a bank account. All right. The payments occur weekly. Now, that was it. That was me setting up Stripe. I kind of deviated from that for a second. So let's go back. That was it. That's all you do. And now you're able to take credit cards through Stripe. That went super fast, but there's a couple, you'll get an email that asks you to verify. The hardest part was setting up, was connecting to my bank account. Here's how we create a product. All right, so there's a variety of choices here. You see how basic this is? We got our standard, that's what I'm going to use. The subscription service, it's good for, you know, let's say you're charging for a private Facebook group or an ongoing meal plan service or ongoing consulting arrangement, whatever. You can also do payment plans and split it up and charge a little bit more for the convenience of offering it in payments. Okay, so here's what we do. We fill out this part, get our spelling right. Takes me a little bit to figure this out. Those are my choices. It's going to be $500. Here's where you can, when you're fulfilling it, if you're selling a digital download, a newsletter, or something else, it starts out with a digital download. This is where you upload your ebook. This is where you upload that checklist, that printable, that then will be downloaded to their computer. Now, if I'm not doing that and I select something else, it takes that option away. Easy peasy. Now, why did I start that over? Okay. This is important too. Remember when I showed you Jenna's and it was Jenna-Kate- whatever it is? And here, this particular Playground account that I'm using, it's an email crush Playground account, but I have not, because I don't use it on a regular basis, I have not switched out the custom domain. You can do that inside ConvertKit in a different place. All right, let me switch real quick to show you where you would do that. If you're inside ConvertKit, let's get out of this. Where is it? Okay, if I'm inside ConvertKit and I go to settings, domains, this is where that's set. Okay, I should probably change mine. So instead of that skilled painter thing that they just default through in there, I've got email crush. Okay, that's the only thing I need to do. I don't need to verify the sending domain. You don't need to do all that. Just hit save. And now that is the change there. Hopefully that was helpful. Let's go back to the video. And let's keep it rocking. All right, so you notice here that, so instead it would be email crush.ck.page, and then it would give me products. And then you put your slug here for whatever you're going to call that for the product page, because that's going to be important going forward. Once you make that product, now you have some options, and it's typical ConvertKit stuff. All right, so you can modify what this looks like, and then you can go through these different processes up here with the checkout, what the checkout says, the confirmation page, the receipt email, and so forth. I'll speed this up here so you can kind of get the gist of this. All right, and then I can go to, just like with the rest of ConvertKit, I can go into Unsplash and pick out an image if I want, or upload my own image or whatever. So I'm gonna get rid of that built with ConvertKit thing. I'm gonna save this, so on and so forth. And now there's my link. If I want to add a discount code, this is where you do it. You can always unpublish the product in here. Now here I kind of messed around with this a little bit. So what you're seeing here on your screen is the ability to embed a link that then see this button that says buy my product. When you click that, it'll pop open a modal that has the credit card information stuff, so you can check out instead of it triggering another page. It's just another option. You don't have to do it. This is what that kind of looks like. I'm going to speed this part up so you can see it, because I was messing around as I was doing this. You grab that code. Let's go faster. Get into WordPress. Make a new post. Get in there, and here I can mess around, and you can see it. I guess I was cleaning things up. I can create a custom HTML box if I remember. Yep. And then I drop that in there. I just wanted to see what this looked like. Let me preview this. And so there's that. When you click that, it brings that up. Okay. That's the function of that little piece in the process. Probably not a critical piece, but I just wanted you to see what that was. All right. I don't even remember what I was doing here, but this shows you how you can, oh, I was still messing around with it. This shows you how you could create a very simple checkout or shop page in your WordPress. Okay, it's not overly complicated. I don't even remember now. Oh, I was changing up the, yes, I want this. Let's see if that worked. I don't even remember. And I was just messing with the CSS of this. That's all that was. More stuff than you need to see. So there it is. And you can change, see, that's how you change up the text that's on that particular button if you wanted to use their exact button. All right. So that's how that works. Okay. That's the high level, folks. There's probably a ton more details that we need to get into. I had a couple notes here. What might you do with this once they're done? Inside ConvertKit, the way I would probably manage this, let me switch back to ConvertKit, is I would probably either do it through visual automations or rules. What you can do is you can come in here and say, new rule. If somebody purchases a product, see this down here? Oh, no, wait. That's the wrong one. Buys a product through another provider. Well, I thought I had that figured out. Let's look at this real quick. So I told you this might be a little rough. If I create a new automation, so they have all these different automations as well. If I release a new, let's just do a blank one. So if somebody makes a purchase and they buy my consult, okay, here's how you could do it. All right. So I might change this to be consulting onboarding sequence or workflow or whatever you want to call it. Okay. And so then when this happens, somebody buys my consulting, then what? Well, I can add them to an email sequence, or I can tag them, or all of the above. I could add them to this sequence right here. Okay. So what it's going to do is once they purchased, then it triggers that sequence. All right, I'm gonna hold off there for going too much deeper than that. I just wanted to give you a high level of what starts to be possible. And your individual circumstance is going to vary and going to be different. So at this point, I want to turn it back to you. First of all, what questions do you have that I haven't answered? And second, does this spark any ideas for you in your business? I'd love to hear it. If this sparks something, you're like, okay, here's how I might use that. So go ahead and unmute if you have something to share. I'd really love to hear your thoughts. How do you think this would fit into your business? Or does it not? Maybe it doesn't. That's okay too. Just a group of friends here. Go ahead.
I have a Shopify store on my bigger recipe site, and I've wanted to sell things on my other sites, but they have less traffic. And so I've never wanted to pay for another store. And so I could really see, I could really see this being better than Shopify.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier with it all being in here. So I kind of like that.
Cool.
So yeah, I think that'll be nice for my smaller stuff too. You know, like I've wanted to sell like a Christmas dessert digital cookbook on my dessert site. but I never really kind of knew how to do it because I don't want to pay for a whole nother store. And you don't want to do that with this.
So for those that are unfamiliar with the Shopify thing that you're describing, what are the costs associated with Shopify? I mean,
I don't
it-
know.
Okay.
I actually just texted one of my business partners and asked them for them to look it up because I can't remember, but it's not cheap
right?
by any means. So
You're paying for
Plus-
the software plus,
then you have to pay for the
Fees.
processing fees. So, but now with, it's $40 monthly. Okay, there you go. But now, yeah, so you kind of have to sell a lot of digital cookbooks to make it worth your while if you're on a smaller site. But the thing that I don't like the Shopify is when you click on it, it doesn't look like your website. Like you can put your logo on it, but I really liked how you were talking about setting up a shop page and just using blocks. Cause now, like, why didn't I think of that? And then they're never leaving your site, or it doesn't look like they're ever leaving. And I feel like more people would buy. Does that make sense?
yeah. I mean, I think the way that Notion template was looking, it looks integrated. You probably can take these
Right.
pieces. And even if you're just using a button that triggers even if you
Right.
never even use their product page, you could use
Right.
if you knew your CSS it well enough, or you trigger it, that modal, that could work too.
Right. Yeah. So I definitely think that could replace that for sure with any printables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you for that feedback.
Mhm.
I know there's a couple of people on this call. I don't want to necessarily put you on the spot, but I know that you sell some stuff. I'd love to hear as you're weighing this, that wouldn't work for us because. Do I have anybody that's like that?
So it wouldn't work for part of what Terry does. We have an online running course and it's video content and it's built out in Kajabi. So I don't think it could work on this, but we've talked about using Patreon before, but it looks like here there's a members only newsletter option.
Mhm.
So I guess that would be one way to, instead of creating an entire Patreon strategy, kind of just moving it into ConvertKit and having it for maybe a segment that Terry offers for exclusive content.
Let's talk about that for a second, Hannah. And Sally, I know you're asking a question in the chat too. Members only newsletters. For what you all are doing, how do you envision separate newsletter free stuff versus members only? What does that, at the high level, what does that look like? Hannah, Sally, what do you think? What are you thinking?
For Terry, we're kind of toying with the idea of launching kind of a business, like behind the scenes business, become an influencer, build an email list, online selling kind of course. So Terry's audience currently they're the people that are reading the newsletter or shopping the links, but there is a small niche of people who want to learn the business strategy side of it. So the whole back end. So that was the niche that we talked about doing, members only things for. So the secrets of how I use Like to Know It, how I use affiliate links, the behind the scenes stuff.
Okay, cool. Sally, any thoughts? Let me put you on the spot here a little bit. All right, while Sally's deciding whether or not she's going to, she says more exclusive content, meal plans, extra recipes, etc. Okay, thank you. Appreciate you sharing. For those of you who aren't selling anything, I don't know, Sandy. Yeah, Katie, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Matt. I just wanted to pipe in for me. So I have 2 Shopify stores, one for each of my websites. And the one thing, I don't know if I saw ability to do this, but on my one Shopify store, I have a ton of things. So it's, there's ways to filter, I guess. So if somebody wants to just look at, my SVG cut files, they can go there and then they can click Christmas or Easter or multiple filtering options, which I feel like that's actually one of the reasons I went to Shopify, was to have that for if you're selling a lot of product.
Right.
For less product, I can see the page working, but for my one website, it's just too many things. I think it would be overwhelming to just keep scrolling through.
I think you're right. And I think that if you were to try to save yourself the $40 a month, what you would be doing here is you'd probably have to create your own navigation, your own shop navigation like these folks have. that then sends them into Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, or whatever it is that you have. You would have to do it in CSS, or like in my case, I might have to have multiple shop that come off, one shop page, and then one that is a link full of Christmas stuff, and one that's a link full of Easter stuff, and so forth. So you'd have to manually do it, I think. That's a really good point. Cool, thank you for sharing that. All right, is anybody who has not been selling anything, has this made you think about selling something that you perhaps hadn't been thinking about it before? Not trying to put words in your mouth here, but I'm really trying to get a sense of how this works for my clients. Sandy, you're nodding your head. Do you have any thoughts?
Well, I have a little cookbook that I made, but it's really specific to one subject. And I was thinking that it might encourage me to make a few other small cookbooks that are relevant to a certain thing, like a certain cuisine or whatever. And that could be a fun way to sell them. I took a lot of the links off of my blog for my other book, because it was just kind of a pain for me. I didn't have a good way to promote it or anything. And I feel like this would be something I could promote through my email list. I mean, ConvertKit is already so expensive. If we could get one more thing out of it, I think that would help offset the monthly cost. Because you know how it is, you ladies all know, when when your email list is huge, it's super expensive. And if we can, sell something through that, that would be pretty cool. So it could encourage me to make some more ebooks and, promote and sell at the same time.
Yeah.
Using that list.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. And that's a great thought. Create your opt-ins, your lead magnets, your quick start guides, whatever it's going to be on a particular subject matter area, segment. Find out who they are. And then you could create both evergreen and promotional messages and campaigns and sequences that, whether it's a forever series or it's a limited time series or it's a Black Friday promotion, hit people with those, because you know what they want. They're into slow cooker, boom. The slow cooker cookbook is a great thing to sell at that time.
Yeah.
Great point.
Yeah.
Sally, will you unmute for a second? Or I don't know if you can. Maybe you're not in a place where you can.
I kind of look like hell, so I didn't want to be on camera. That's okay.
Awesome. So tell me what you were thinking, what you're doing, how you're doing the Teachable replacement, because that's a tricky one, what you're trying to do.
So I had these two courses. I don't offer them anymore, but I had two courses and I bought Teachable and I had them on there, and it was, costing a lot of money, and the courses didn't end up kind of panning out as well as I had hoped. And so I was spending all this money on Teachable and just didn't know what to do. And so someone suggested that I move them to Google Drive off of Teachable. And then I lowered the price because, people weren't getting that nice functionality of Teachable anymore. They were like video courses. And then I used ConvertKit to do I had sales pages on my site, and then it went over to ConvertKit to do the sales for them. So for me, it was a nice compromise when I wasn't ready to stop the courses entirely, but I didn't want to pay the $250 a year or whatever Teachable was at that time.
Right.
So that's how I used it for a while.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yep.
All right. Any other thoughts before I leave you with this?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So on my website, for when I have a crock pot recipe, then on that recipe, I have it set to where ConvertKit will show the newsletter for that, per category is what I'm trying to say. Do you think there's a way for the products to do that too through their app, or does that make sense? So let's say I have a crock pot cookbook. I want it to show, I don't want it to show on my grilling recipe. I want it to show on my crock pot recipe. Do you think there's a way to do that so it's individualized? Because that would be huge.
Well, aren't you really? I mean, the reality is, let's think about that for a second. What is actually happening there? They land on the crock pot, right? And then you show this crock pot related product.
Right.
And when you're showing that that's really there's going to be an ad of some sort. There's going to be the buy now button really can take them anywhere. It could take them to PayPal, it could take them to Gumroad, it could take them to this ConvertKit commerce page. So what you really need to have happen is you need either a pop-up or a embedded form
Okay.
that then when you click on it will take you elsewhere. So for those types of things, that's where that Convert Pro stuff or some other third-party
Right.
opt-in works well, because you can create a whole lot of them. Convert Pro, by the way, does have an embedded form option with it.
Yeah.
So the same way that you make, because I'm mentioning this because I think, Carrie, you are on Convert Pro, right?
Yeah. We just
So-
switched. I like it. I
And
suggest-
so if you learn how to do the basics with the pop-up aspect, it's the same type of thing, except with a couple minor tweaks related to where it gets shown on an embedded form. So instead of it being a collecting an email address there,
right. It would be a buy now button.
yeah,
right?
or that button would be learn more, which would
Learn
then
more,
take you
yeah.
to some deeper landing page where you're really selling it.
Got it.
That's
Yeah,
probably
I
what
could
would
see
do.
that being huge.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be cool. You could
Yeah.
you could target certain categories and whatnot.
yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Thanks.
Hannah asked about, for Convert, this is a separate question, but not related to ConvertKit Commerce, but for Convert Pro, which is a pop-up software that I talk about a lot. When you're making a form, you have a choice to make both at the same time. So while you're creating it, you can see that you'll make a desktop version and a mobile version, and they can look completely different. If you get a second, go into email and autopilot and just watch that little video, scrub, I think it's like the 8 minute or 9 minute mark, put it on chipmunk mode and hear me fast, and just kind of get a sense of how it's done. Even if you don't buy it, you'll be able to see how it works. Any other questions or thoughts about ConvertKit Commerce or anything else while we're together? I'm happy to whatever's happening in your business, I'm happy to dive in if you'd like. But your thoughts they're what drive me about what to build next.
I have a question on that. This is Cielo.
Hi.
Hey, so how about just sharing sensitive information? Like, I feel sometimes people are very adamant to share credit card information over a forum.
That's going to happen no matter what when you're dealing with commerce. It's a fair concern for sure. They are using SSL certificates to make sure that the information is submitted safely and securely. It seems to be industry standard. I don't see anything in there that scares me, the way that they're building that. There's not really an easy answer to that other than this is e-commerce today. This is how it's done. So if they're using Stripe, which they are, Stripe is massive, has a fantastic reputation. It's not like they partnered with, Joe's credit cards down the street or something. So I think they picked a good partner.
Okay, I think I missed a step. Okay, so then that's good because how people are familiar with Shopify, they are familiar with Kajabi. There's more options for payment sometimes. But yeah, Stripe, if they're doing it through Stripe, it should be good enough. Okay.
Yeah, agreed. Fair question.
Is there,
all right.
Matt,
Yes.
is there something on there that we could just put a little line? I don't know about legalities and stuff, but just say pay through the secure channel, or pay through, if you use the word secure, I always feel like that kind of encourages people to know that, okay, well, whatever they're using, it's a secure channel or secure processing.
I believe that you can, with these landing pages and these product pages, you can say whatever you want. Yeah. I think you can add that to the description. Okay, just because you're here with me, you'll be the first to learn about this next week. I hope this was helpful for you. If it wasn't, let me know that too. How I could make these a little bit better. Probably shorter. Might have been good, right? So next week I'm going to be doing a first time thing. I've never done this before. And it'll only be for email on autopilot students. I'm introducing a new interview series that I'm going to be doing once per month. It's called Email Crushing It. And I'm going to be interviewing some creators like yourselves that are doing good things with email. Instead of just hearing from me about what I tell you to do, let's hear what you all are doing. So my first one is going to be one of my oldest friends in the blogging world and one of my first clients, and she is actually responsible for getting me into all this because she grabbed these concepts and she ran with it and had such great success that it got me so jazzed to turn this into a business. Her name is Jansen Bradshaw. She's from Everyday Reading. And she is a former librarian, has an MBA in librarian sciences. She has products, a blog, and a service where she helps parents instill a love of reading in their kids. And she is doing some stuff that you have never thought of before with my ideas. She's taken them and gone whoop and turned them into next level awesome. So first of all, we're going to talk about how she's reinvigorating her old content using email and automations. So you'll hear about that. And it's kind of forever serious stuff, but gone next step. So that's pretty cool. And then she's going to share with you this incredible genius hack that she has used over the last 3 years to convert her Instagram audience into email subscribers. And not just any old email subscribers. These are people that are opening, clicking everything going forward. And then last, she's going to share her email income streams with you. We were talking today about, the costs of this stuff. So she's going to open it up and say, here's how I make money with email. And she does. I'll get texts from her all the time about, oh, I just did this. And she just blows my mind. So you're going to love to hear from her. It's going to be next Monday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific. Sally asked, where are the recorded sessions housed? I'll probably just put it in the email on autopilot Facebook group so that it's just my students that get access to that. Okay. I hope you'll join me live if you can. Give Jansen some of that energy. But appreciate you all. Let me know if you have questions or ideas related to ConvertKit Commerce. I want to help you be successful with that too. I may turn this into a course of some sort. I'm still figuring all that out. So your thoughts are paramount to what I'm doing. Appreciate you. All right. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Talk soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.